They met long before either of them understood what love really meant. It was the autumn of their first year in high school. She was the quiet girl who always carried books too heavy for her arms, and he was the boy who sat by the window, always gazing out as though the world outside the classroom whispered secrets only he could hear. Her name was Elena. His was Michael. At first, they were just classmates, sharing the same dusty corridors, the same echo of school bells, the same tiny hometown that seemed too small to contain anyone's dreams. But fate, in its quiet persistence, had other plans. Their story began with a forgotten notebook. One rainy afternoon, Elena left her notebook on the desk after class. Michael found it, flipped through the pages, and saw her careful handwriting, her sketches of flowers in the margins. Something about it felt alive, like a secret diary left open. The next morning, he returned it. "You forgot this," he said simply. Her cheeks flushed. "Thank you. I thought I lost it." From then on, their conversations grew. At first, small exchanges, homework questions, complaints about strict teachers, laughter at clumsy mistakes. Then more personal ones, dreams, fears, favorite books, silly wishes like owning a dog or traveling to the seaside. Soon the others noticed. They walked together in the hallways, waited for each other before going home, the kind of friendship so obvious that even teachers teased them about being inseparable. And inseparable they were. Life wove them closer than either could have planned. Their families lived on the same street, just 3 houses apart. Summers meant endless afternoons at each other's doorsteps. Winters meant shoveling snow together. When they were 16, Michael's father passed away suddenly. Elena was the first person at his door. She didn't bring flowers or food, only her presence. Quiet, steady, like a candle in a darkened room. They sat together in silence, sometimes speaking, sometimes not. But for Michael, her presence was enough to remind him that he wasn't alone. In return, he promised himself something he never confessed out loud, that he would never let her face life alone either. By the time graduation came, everyone already knew. They didn't need a declaration, but Michael made one anyway. On a spring evening, under the old oak tree near their schoolyard, he finally said it. "Elena, I don't want this to end. I don't want to lose you after school. I love you." Her answer was not dramatic. She only smiled, her eyes shimmering like dawn. "I know. I've always known." It was the kind of confession that didn't ignite fireworks, but planted roots. Roots that would dig deep into the soil of their lives and never let go. They went to the same college in the nearest city, studying side by side. He in engineering, she in literature. They worked part-time jobs, saved every coin, and dreamed of a small place of their own. They didn't dream big, not at first. Their happiness wasn't in luxury, but in proximity. The joy of studying late nights at the same desk, of sharing instant noodles after exhausting shifts, of whispering plans into the night air. When they finally rented their first apartment, a small, creaking place with thin walls, it felt like a palace. They painted the walls themselves, laughed at their uneven strokes, and called it home. Years later, they married in a modest ceremony. No chandeliers, no gold, just friends, family, and vows spoken with trembling voices and steady hearts. "I'll be with you in every storm," Elena promised. "And I'll be your shelter in every fire," Michael replied. Neither of them knew how literal those words would become. It happened one winter night. They had been married for 3 years, living in a small but beloved house near the edge of town. Inside, the smell of Elena's cooking still lingered. Michael had fallen asleep on the couch with the book on his chest, while Elena wrote in her journal. The fire started quietly, faulty wiring in the kitchen. By the time they noticed, flames had already crawled along the walls, hungry and merciless. "Elena, get outside," Michael shouted, pulling her toward the door. She wanted to grab her journals, their photo albums, the tiny keepsakes of their life together, but Michael held her tight. "Nothing matters but you. Go." They stumbled into the cold night, coughing, their eyes burning with smoke. By the time firefighters arrived, the house was gone, reduced to embers, ashes, and a skeleton of what once was home. Elena wept as she clutched Michael's chest. "Our home, everything's gone." He held her, soot covering his face, voice hoarse but steady. "No, Elena, everything isn't gone. You're here, and that's everything." And though they had lost all possessions, they discovered something indestructible. Their love could not be burned. Life after the fire was hard. They rented a small apartment again, started saving once more, rebuilt their lives piece by piece. But the greatest trial was yet to come. They wanted children. They dreamed of little feet running across their floors, of lullabies and bedtime stories. But after years of trying, doctor after doctor gave them the same verdict. Elena could not have children. She cried in silence, often at night, believing she had failed him. "Michael deserves a family," she whispered into her pillow, unaware that he was awake, listening. One night, when her tears returned, he finally spoke. "Elena, look at me." Her eyes, red and swollen, lifted to meet his. "You are my family," he said firmly. "You've always been. Children or no children, I chose you. I'll choose you every day until my last breath." In that moment, her grief softened. They would never fill their home with children's laughter, but they filled it with something else, the kind of love that multiplies in silence, steady and unbreakable. The years passed. Their hair turned silver, their steps slowed, but their closeness never loosened. Neighbors often saw them walking hand in hand through the park or sitting quietly on their porch, sipping tea. They didn't need to talk much anymore. Silence between them was as comforting as words once were. Sometimes young couples would ask them, "What's your secret? How did you stay together so long?" Michael would smile and say, "We never stopped choosing each other." Elena would add, "And we never let the storms convince us we weren't strong enough." When Michael's hands grew too shaky to hold a hammer, Elena helped him fix things. When Elena's eyesight dimmed, Michael read her favorite books aloud. They became each other's missing senses, each other's strength when the other faltered. One winter evening, decades after that first schoolyard meeting, they sat together by the fire in their rebuilt home. Snow fell outside, blanketing the world in quiet. Michael's hand trembled as it reached for hers. She took it, warming his fingers with her touch. "Elena," he whispered, his voice weak with age. "Do you remember that day under the oak tree?" Her smile was slow, but her eyes were still bright. "I remember everything. I told you I loved you then, and I still love you now, more than words can say." She leaned against him, her head on his shoulder. "And I still know," she whispered back. As the fire crackled, as snow pressed against the windows, as the world outside grew colder, inside there was warmth that not even time could extinguish. And when their final days came, Whether together or apart by a breath, their love remained, echoing in the lives of all who knew them. Because their story was proof of something rare, that love, true love, eternal love, can survive every trial, every fire, every storm. Some stories are loud, filled with grand gestures and extraordinary events. But Elena and Michael's love was quiet, steady, built not on miracles, but on daily choices, on enduring patience, on the refusal to let go when life tried to tear them apart. They lost a home, they lost the dream of children, they faced fire, grief, and years of rebuilding. But they never lost each other. And in the end, that was enough, more than enough.